The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Nature's Bounty. Nature's Bounty believes your body is brilliant, naturally designed to thrive, inside and out. For those always looking for new ways to support your health from head to heels, Nature's Bounty has a range of over 400 vitamins and supplements born from 50 years of trust and care. Nature's Bounty. It's in your nature. Visit naturesbounty.com to learn more.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Gary Birtles, one of the old gits from a long time ago. You've got to tune into Tricky Talks, I believe, so just do it. All the best.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Hello and welcome along to the Tricky Talks podcast. Coming up on the show this week, we'll discuss Chelsea, Sean Dyche, and we have some very special guests join us later to chat about that photo. Stay tuned for more to come, but in the meantime, Chelsea, Mollo and Kate are here as always. And guys, what a weekend. Time to take a breath, Chelsea?
Just feel like I just need faith to be restored and we go again.
I mean, it's been a whirlwind of a weekend, hasn't it, Kate, after the final whistle on Saturday? Obviously, we talked about it in the immediate aftermath, but more to talk about today.
Absolutely. I think my overriding feeling was just relief. You know, when you've been looking forward to like a really difficult dentist appointment and you know you're going to be in the chair like an hour, but it's going to feel like 5. That's how I can sum up Ange's tenure at Nottingham Forest. And now I'm in the car, I'm on my way home, my mouth's a little bit sore, but it's all over, so I can go, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I know, Mollo, you were on your way home as well, and you were getting chicken wings after the game, and then you ended up having to take Ellie back to the City Ground as well for an emergency interview. How was that experience?
Yeah, it was just bizarre, because we actually got away reasonably quickly. Obviously, I'd never leave early. I'm not criticising those that do, but I stayed to the end, give the players a clap, and we were straight off down Radcliffe Road and the back streets of, well, not there are back streets, the quieter streets of West Bridgford. To cheer ourselves up, we stopped at Wingers for a bit of food and then went to Birds. And while we were there, because obviously the whole family, different choices, not that we went for lots of courses, and Ellie's phone rang and she was wanted back at the ground by TNT and ITV, so it was like, oh, okay. So that was interesting. But I guess that's going to happen at the moment, isn't it? But feel for the bloke. He never had a chance, did he? So it's just the way he goes.
He didn't. We'll get into the Chelsea game in a moment because we didn't talk about that on Saturday. But before we do, I just wanted to say that we all learned early today of the passing of Stuart Pearce's son, Harley, following a tragic accident last week. And on behalf of the 4 of us, we send our condolences and best wishes to Stuart and his family, of course, in what sad times.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Right. Let's talk about Chelsea then. I don't think we need to spend a huge amount of time going over the game because we all know the outcome, we all know the story. We went on Door and Tour. I went on Door and Tour on Saturday and talked a little bit about the goals and how there was errors for every single goal if you could find them. But Guys, just talk me through your initial thoughts after. Obviously, we had a lot to focus on other than the result, but having sat back and thought about it for a few days, has the result sunk in yet, in terms of it was another disappointing defeat, 3-0 at home. Not what we hoped for at the start of the game. But Chelsea, what were your thoughts when the final whistle blew?
I just felt like that was what I expected. I think my prediction was 3-1 to Chelsea anyway. I just felt like the whole game was just tarnished by whether Ange was going to get sacked. That's how I felt going into it. I was watching it with my family as well, with some people that I was talking to online as well. It was like, this is the make or break for whether Ange is going to be sacked or not, regardless of how the game was being played out. I think I can safely say we all knew that we were going to lose, so that was inevitable. But there were some choices that he did make in the game, which I didn't agree with. I just felt like we didn't really have a shape. I think it was a statement for him, who's someone who wanted to go against the club because he wanted out. That's how it felt, personally.
It was literally a game of two halves, wasn't it? Because the first half I thought they did okay, and I know we all messaged together and thought it was quite encouraging going in 0-0 at half-time, and Chelsea didn't look a threat. But what were your thoughts, guys, at half-time, Kate, when it certainly was a bit better than we expected, given the whole scheme of how the team were playing at the moment, but 0-0 at home against Chelsea, who were playing on the back of a really good win against Liverpool the week before. We'd have taken that from the start, but what were your thoughts going into half-time?
So I was watching it with my brother, who is a massive Forest pessimist. Loves them, but he's always like, "Oh, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're going to get relegated." He's that kind of guy. So I always say to him, "Bring your positivity, won't you?" But I have to say it was me that was being a bit negative, because about 30 minutes in, when we'd missed those chances, Morgan Gibbs-White, God love him, and I felt like I've seen this before. So yes, we're pressing. Yes, we're creating chances, but we're not hitting the back of the net. And I felt like they are going to run out of this level of energy, and the goals haven't gone in, and then Chelsea are going to open up on us and take the game. And flimsy, I think, is the word I used on Saturday directly after the game. And that's how it felt. It felt like a house of cards, that any minute Chelsea were just going to go on and it all comes down. And unfortunately, that is pretty much what happened. So yes, it was positive to go in at 0-0. Yes, it was nice to see a little bit of that battle that I spoke about, in the pre-match, but I wasn't at all convinced it was going to go our way. And then obviously the second half happened, and I couldn't find an argument anymore for keeping him. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a sense of inevitability, wasn't there, Muller, as the goals were going in the second half. And as we know, Marinakis left his seat early. Presumably, he was already on his way out of the stadium, I'm led to believe, as well, from things you read in the press. But what were your thoughts as the goals were going in? Because I thought, well, the first goal was the player was unmarked. Incidentally, 3.9 million on FPL, and he's got 25 points over the last 3 games if you're looking for a bargain. Just saying. So he got a free header for the first goal. The free kick somehow squeezed through the wall, even with Anderson lying on the floor. They still managed to somehow squeeze that through, so the wall didn't do his job. Matt Sells could have done better with it as well, I thought. And then the third goal again, Reece James was unmarked from a corner. What were your thoughts, Molo, as that second half unfolded, because it wasn't pretty?
I think, having watched it back again, at the time I thought we played quite well first half, but on reflection, we played off Chelsea's mistakes. Chelsea were absolutely terrible. I hadn't realised how bad Chelsea were first half until I watched it back, and we didn't even punish them. That half time, I can remember talking to people, and obviously on WhatsApp groups and whatnot. I documented it. It feels like, here we go again. We've had chances, we've wasted them. We all know what's coming second half, and it did. And it came very, very quickly as well, with absolutely atrocious goal. I thought you were very generous calling it a free header. Although when you're up against Sangare, it does probably feel like a free header when he leans over and makes a nice little surfboard for you to climb on. But my thoughts in the second half, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I was a bit emotional on Saturday night, obviously, in lots of different ways. Famous confidence pill we need that's missing. But it looked okay in the first half, but as soon as that goal went in, It was, flimsy's the right word, like a balloon bursting. And for all the people that are criticising certain players that aren't on top of their game, and I'm going to pick somebody out here in a reverse way. One guy that just kept getting on the ball and kept trying to make things happen and kept driving us forward as best he could in poor form was Gibbs White. There was a lot of players, and I'll probably get slaughtered for this, there were players that were hiding out there in that second half for periods of time. And by hiding, anyone who's played the game knows what I'm talking about. They get the ball and it would go backwards, sideways, for no reason whatsoever. There was no need for it. There was no courage on the ball. And we know I've talked about the problem with having a coward in there who won't make a 50-50 tackle. Now we've got people whose confidence is so low that when things are going badly, they're hiding from the ball. That is a serious recipe for disaster, as we saw. Hopefully starting 0-0 again, Porto, etc., new manager. That's my biggest worry. Not just the fact we've lost again, and it's 3 again, and the defence capitulated again. It's the total lack of confidence. We've got 5 points on the board. 4 of them came in the first 2 games. It's a worry, to say the least, and it's a big job for the next man. Everyone seems to think because we've got all these supposedly talented players, the next person's going to come in and sort it out and it'll all be okay because it's all Ange's fault. The players, as Yatesy stood up and said, like he always does, and I actually, to an extent, excuse me this because he's not been used much anyway, they've got to look at themselves. They've got to be braver. They're seriously talented. Nobody doubts that. But the difference between being a top player and just somebody who can be good in a good team or whatever is mental. It's psychological. And it was horrible to watch in that second half. People turning inside to pass the ball backwards. I think Matt Sells probably had more of the ball than anyone in the second half for us because it was going backwards that much. And people forgot how to do their jobs as well for whatever reason under pressure. So that's how it came. I think it was a lot worse on second viewing, believe it or not.
Talking of players making backward steps, I think about how they're defending set pieces at the moment, and it's a stark contrast to how solid they were at defending set pieces last year. But if I remember from 2 years back, they were pretty much the same. It was like, well, how do you score against Forest? You have set pieces because they can't defend them. So we've gone from one extreme to the other and then back again in the space of 2 years, haven't they? And that, for me, is the big job that the new manager, and we'll come on to that shortly, is going to have in terms of teaching them again how to defend at set pieces. Perhaps remember the basics, because they've proved they can do it, because they did it last year. They've just got to get back. And I think a lot of it has got to do with confidence as well. I think you're right, Mono, but Chelsea had a point to make on that.
Yeah, no, just when you said about the set pieces. So far this season, we've conceded 18 goals, 11 of which have been from set pieces.
Yeah.
That's an incredible start.
I know. And you think so really we're in game week 8. Obviously I know we've had...
Who's the ideal man to bring in to try and put that right?
Well, I've been seeing Mr. Bean float a lot about online.
Mr. Blobby, yeah. So they couldn't have done a worse job than Ange, could they?
I'm going to steal your pun here, Simon, and say it doesn't look like we're in for a silver lining, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the likely appointment in the second half of the show, of course, but because there's been obviously some developments in that today. But just to wrap up this Chelsea game, it feels like now is the really good opportunity for a fresh start. I think we can't do anything about those games that have gone now. It's all about looking forward. I'll go back to something you said on the last show, Kate, around there's plenty of time to get it right. And again, later on in the show, we'll come to what does this season mean success-wise later on. But it feels to me like a fresh start. Right, Mollo, we always do a Mollo's moment. Where are you going to go this time? I mean, we are going to hear about a very special moment shortly, but what about your particular choice this week?
I'm struggling, if I'm honest. There's the usual moments from certain other players, and probably wasn't even a big tackle to celebrate. So I'm going to go for just before half time, where it was going a bit dull. I think after about 32 minutes, I looked at the clock and we'd had all our chances, and Chelsea was starting to get into it. And for about 5 minutes, Seatman sat there singing a song all on his own. He did not care. Banging the seat that ironically we'd bought for my wife, but she didn't use the seat. She stood with us, and that was the highlight of the match for me. Or if I'm allowed to go outside of a 90 minutes, it's got to be, and this sounds so brutal, because obviously Ellie gets all the stuff first before me. She's way ahead of me. She said, he's gone. And like Kate said, I think it was Kate said, it was a relief. And even in Birds in West Bridgford, probably the most down to earth middle class place you could possibly go after a match, everyone was like, yes. So probably that.
Well done, what's from me?
Yeah. Oh, I had to have 2 in celebration, and that's not a lie either. I really did have 2 caramel donuts. So yeah, I'm going to go Seatman during the game because he reached another new peak, and his song was amazing. I wish I could remember the words to it. And then, as I say, the moment that we learnt that the pain was over, and I don't even blame Ange for what's gone on directly, but it just wasn't going to work. I think my Brian Clough analogy or comparison, probably is as close as I can think of in modern history. Picking the wrong man for the job.
You mentioned Seatman.
I didn't have his permission for that. I know he happened to be in the background of one of our family pictures because he sits just along on the road behind. Yeah.
Awesome.
Less said the better. Lovely guy,
I'm sure. I know you struggled to pick a Mono's moment, and now comes an even harder job of picking the man of the match, because we do this irrespective of the result. And I'm going to pick on you to start with, Chelsea, in terms of, to set the ball rolling here, to give us a man of the match.
So my man of the match has to be Ange, because he has gone from Nottingham Forest. No hard feelings at all. I completely agree with Mollo that I don't think he's to blame in terms of like him coming in. Like I said on the podcast, the shoe just didn't fit, and even he said himself, I just don't fit. To be honest, I did feel really sorry for him when he did say that, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. It's just how things happened. We weren't right for him, he wasn't right for us. And then you part your separate ways and you both move on. So, yes, Ange.
Okay, Kate, who are you going for?
So, I'm going for Ryan Yates, which, it maybe doesn't actually personify what man of the match means.
Yeah.
But I'm going for Ryan Yates for his post-Ange interview where he said, I've got nothing to say to Ange. And maybe after this, maybe after it's all died down a little bit, it's time to put that one to bed and stop talking about Ange Postecoglou. Yeah. Ryan Yates for his after Ange interview for me.
Okay, Mollo.
I had the pleasure of watching the game twice, and I'm going to pick out the only guy that I think did his own job for the whole game, and that's
Seatman.
Yeah. No. I'm going to go Milenkovic because, and you've alluded to it about the Chelsea game, and Chelsea talked about conceding from set pieces. It seems to me teams have realised if they can put the ball and their attacking players away from Milenkovic, they've got a chance of winning the first header. Or if not, then the goalkeeper will punch it half a yard and you can whack it in from inside the box. But yeah, I'm going Milenkovic because he actually did do his job throughout. Won his headers, won his tackles, was trying to G everyone up and organise them. But what can you do when someone chickens out in a wall and what have you? There's not a lot you can do, is there? And the goalkeeper develops Weetabix wrists.
I never heard that one before. Right, so we've had 2 man of the match votes for people off the pitch, and we've had 1 vote for somebody on the pitch, and I'm going to continue the trend of going for somebody off the pitch, because I'm going to vote for Marinakis as my man of the match. I think for leaving his seat after however many minutes and deciding enough was enough and pulling the plug on Postecoglou's managerial reign. I think it was long overdue. I think everybody's pleased by that. So yeah, that's why Marinakis gets my man of the match this week. And of course, after that is literally when it all kicked off, wasn't it, Kate? So we're going to hear from 2 very special guests in a moment, but for those that aren't aware, Kate put a picture on our X account of a young lady who we shall hear from, and Postecoglou shortly after he left the City ground, and it's gone absolutely viral. Last time I looked, there were 4.5 million views, 5,400 likes, multiple reposts, and I, like you, Kate, I had to turn my phone off at one point because it was just ping, ping, ping all weekend. But this is the second time we've gone viral, Kate.
Both managerially linked well, weren't they? Yeah, that's what we need.
So let's hope we don't go viral when the next manager's appointed, because it means he's lost his job again, I think. But yeah, the post was a picture of young 11-year-old Georgia that was taken by her mum, and it was of Ange in his car on Musters Road, I believe. And Kate and Chelsea had the great pleasure of having a chat with Georgia and Carly a short while ago, and we shall hear that interview right now.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
No one should have to choose between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters through the Purple Leash Project, so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
We've got two incredibly special guests with us today on Tricky Talks, and they are definitely the biggest, well, one of them in particular is the biggest celebrity we've ever had and probably ever will have. We've got the lovely Georgia, who I'm sure you, along with millions of other people, have seen on social media, in the paper, on the radio, absolutely everywhere you look. And her lovely mum, Carly, who Chelsea and I know through the Garibaldi Girls supporters group. So we were absolutely delighted that they've agreed to come on today and talk about all things Forest, because girls know best when it comes to football. Is that right, Georgia? Yeah. Yes, they do. Good answer. First answer's right. And yeah, just to talk about everything that's been happening with Forest and how brilliant it is to be a Garibaldi girl, whether you are a mum, a daughter, or whatever capacity you come to join us in, how great the Garibaldi girls are. So are you ready, Georgia?
Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, so for those of you that haven't seen, Georgia had a picture taken with a very, are we going to use the word special, important, X? I'm not sure.
Yeah, around about that, Kate.
Yeah, somebody you may have heard mentioned recently, about half an hour after the final whistle went in the Chelsea game. So, Georgia, and with a little bit of help from Carly if you need it, although I suspect you won't, tell us all about what happened to you after the Chelsea game on Saturday.
So, I was with my mum and her friend Jane, and we were walking out the ground, and we were about 5-10 minutes from the ground, and someone said that Ange had been sacked, and at that point we just felt really bad for him because he hadn't been there for very long.
And then what did we do? We were walking back to the car, weren't we?
Yeah.
And what happened when we were walking down the road?
So loads of people were running up to this car, and we thought it was like one of the football players. And it turns out it was Ange, so we asked to get a photo with him. And yeah, he was really nice.
Yeah, considering he'd just been given his marching orders, he was very, very personable, wasn't he? He was interacting not only with Georgia, but with other fans. So fans were getting out of their cars and going up So I thought it was Callum Hudson-Odoi because I thought it was a similar car to what Callum Hudson-Odoi had. And I was like, Georgia, run down and see if it's Callum Hudson-Odoi and get a picture with him. Then she came running back up and she's like, Mum, it's Ange. And I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. Do you want a picture with him? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, do you mind? And he was, wound the window down and he was very nice, wasn't he? So we just said sorry for the way it turned out. He looked like really... like the weight of the world had been lifted off of his shoulders. Absolutely, didn't he? Stuck in traffic, and we just said, best of luck for the future. Thank you very much. And off we went, didn't we? And I shared the picture in the Garibaldi girls group and said, he's already left the city ground, and it's just gone from there, really. And then you messaged me, Kate, and said, do you mind if I put the picture online with Georgia's face blurred? So we're in the car travelling home. And I said to Georgia about it, and she was like, I don't want my face blurred, Mum. It's absolutely fine. You've got my full consent. And it's just gone from there.
Fantastic. I wouldn't have wanted my face blurred either, Georgia. I love you for that.
So I know you said, Georgia, that when you were walking down, you thought it might be a Forest player and you didn't really realise who it was. When you did realise that it was Ange, how did you feel actually meeting him? When he wound down that window and you were like, oh, it's Ange. How did you feel?
Excited to meet an ex-manager of Forest, but I also felt a bit sad for him because he had only just been sacked.
Of course, I completely understand. Yeah, I mean, well, you looked very, very, very happy on the picture from your face.
Do you think, Georgia, that Ange was happy or sad? I know your mum said he looked a bit relieved. But do you think when, all those fans were running up and talking to him, do you think he was a bit sad to be leaving Forest, or do you think he was thinking, oh, I'm going to go home and count my money and plan a holiday? What vibes were you getting?
Who he was, and everyone was still happy to see him. But yeah, I still think he was a bit upset about what happened.
But like we said, didn't we? We said at least now, because obviously he has had a bit of a slating from a lot of the Forest fan base, and myself included. I don't think he was the right fit for the club, but I think it was really nice for it to end on a positive interaction with the fans, because it wasn't just ourselves, it was multiple fans going up, young and old, and getting selfies with him and saying best of luck and things like that. So I think that a negative situation's turned into a bit of a positive for him, because some fans have been very, very vocal in that they weren't happy.
So potentially Ange getting sacked led to one of the best days of your life, I imagine, Georgia, in that you have quite literally gone viral to the point where Simon and I had to turn off the notifications on our phone because it was just going ping, 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 ping. And every time we looked at it, it was Georgia's face that we were seeing and how many people were sharing it. And I don't know if your mum's told you, but it's been shared by Fabrizio Romano, it's been shared by Stan Sport, the Daily Mail, Men in Blazers. Oh, I could go on. The list is endless of how many people have seen your face and shared that picture. So tell us how that feels to be a bit of a celebrity.
I thank myself for being able to get online and be shared globally.
Yeah, you were very disappointed, though, that the Daily Mail had blurred your face out, weren't you?
Yeah.
I thought that when I saw it.
What? She was like, why have they blurred my face out and nobody else?
I bet it was great going into school today, wasn't it, Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went to your friend's house after school, and when her dad answered the door, he was like, we've had a celebrity here today.
The thing is, so this is not the only station which you've been asked to appear and talk on. We heard you going on a radio station in Australia, all over the other side of the world. I mean, Carly and Georgia, how was that going on a radio station in Australia?
Just felt a bit shocking to be going on a radio station.
Yeah, and we were hoping, my brother lives in Australia, so we were hoping that he was able to tune in and listen. So that was quite nice, wasn't it? So that was really good. But you didn't get to bed till about 20 to 11 last night because you were absolutely so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? It was a really nice experience.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I heard you on there and you were absolutely brilliant, lovely. You were so, so good. But what I really, really am interested to know is, out of all of our players, who is your Forest favourite?
Morgan Gibbs.
I know it's tricky. Morgan Gibbs-White. Love that. Good choice.
What do you love about Morgan?
I like how he shows sportsmanship. So say if someone missed the goal, he's like, "Oh, that's okay. Maybe try again another time," which I think is really nice.
Yeah,
he is very good like that.
You got a signed picture of him in your birthday, didn't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Love that.
That needs to go on the wall.
Gosh, that is brilliant. Okay, and then I think the last question from us, Georgia, because you are now the face of Nottingham Forest, the big question is, are we going to win the Europa League?
Yeah, we will.
Yes!
You heard it here first. Georgia says we are going to win the Europa League. Get your bets on now. So, have you got any questions that you might like to ask us?
Yeah, ready?
Well, we were talking about what it's like to do a podcast, weren't we? And is it a lot of fun and things like that?
Is it tricky to put on a podcast, or is it quite easy?
It's amazing doing a podcast. I mean, we get to rant if we haven't had a very good game, if we've lost. We also get to celebrate with each other. It's amazing doing a podcast. Even though we are called Tricky Talks, it's not tricky because we have the best time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun coming on here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. What do you say?
Thank you for having me.
Well, just before you go, every week on our podcast, we have a quiz. Okay, and normally I'm the one that asks the questions, so I don't have to worry at all about answering them. But today, we wondered if you might be able to do the quiz for us, Georgia, and test my knowledge as well as Simon and Mollo's, although I have to tell you that Mollo knows everything, so he's definitely going to get it right. Yeah. If Mollo gets it wrong, then that's it. You come in on every week for the quiz, okay? But do you think you could do that for us?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just got to put the date in 2 seconds.
Who scored for Forest in the 5-1 defeat to Bayern Munich at the City Ground in March 1996?
Oh, Georgia, I was only 2 at this point, so I've got no idea.
I did as well.
6. Goodness me. So I was definitely not there. I can't give the excuse of being 2 because I was 6. But I don't remember a great deal about being 16, I have to tell you. So mine will be an absolute shot in the dark. Okay, go on, let the boys go first.
Do we all guess first, or do we...
So everybody's going to have a guess. Well, I did wonder if it might be Steve Stone or Ian Wone, with it the current connection to them pending. So if Simon's going Stone, then I'm going to go Wone.
I'll go Pierce with Mollo. I won't leave you by yourself, but
yeah.
I'd absolutely love to meet Morgan Gibbs-White. If anyone could arrange that, that would top Pete and Ange, wouldn't it?
If that call does come, just remember who posted that picture online, okay? And if you want anyone to come with you.
Well, I met Callum Hudson-Odoi is my favourite player, and I met him at Crystal Palace away when he was in the crowd. And he was just lovely. He was such a nice man.
Okay, the correct answer is Steve Stone.
Simon!
Yeah, we thought that would be a pretty apt question with the rumours going round. And then I saw another one on Twitter today, which I thought was quite good. So, on this day in 2008, who signed for Forest?
Tell you what, let's give us a bit of time with that, and then at the end, if you can text me the answer, Carly, and give us a little bit of time to think about that one, because, my brain is really starting to hurt now. So you text me the answer, and then we'll reveal all at the end, as it were.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Well, thank you so much for having us on. We've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. And a big shout out again to the Garibaldi girls, who me and Georgia are a part of, as are Chelsea and I. They're amazing, follow the Garibaldi girls, follow Tricky Talks, follow Georgia, because I'm sure her social media account is being set up as we speak. But
we'll think it's still under discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. And if it wasn't for the Garibaldi girls, we wouldn't have had this amazing opportunity. So, yeah, really, really, really proud to be part of such an amazing community for female fans.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
And thank you for having us.
Right, what a great little girl Georgia was. Hey guys, I mean, it was a fabulous interview, wasn't it? And she must be revelling in her 15 minutes of fame, or 48 hours of fame, I should say.
She must be an absolute hero at school as well at the moment. She's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and I can't believe I actually got a quiz question right, and you didn't, Mollo, for once.
I know.
I was at the game, but that was in the days where going to a football match meant a party before the game every time, to be fair to me.
Yeah, but just you guys, Kate and Chelsea, you were the lucky ones to have a chat with Georgia and Carly. I mean, she was great, wasn't she? And must have been a fabulous occasion for her, not only to meet Ange, but to get all this, to be the talk of the town in the school, and to go on Aussie radio like we heard. And she must be revelling in it. What were your thoughts as you were having a conversation with her?
She's an absolute sweetheart, isn't she? Bless her. She is so lovely, and for her, you can just see how happy she is. And I heard her on the radio station in Australia, and she spoke so well, and you can just tell she is revelling in it. I know that she's going to speak to her teacher tomorrow at school, and people are chatting about it at school, and I think, yeah, good for her, bless her.
And you know, when we did the radio in Australia, after we'd finished, I was like trying to rewind it to hear back, you know, how it sounded and everything, because I could hear her doing it live, but you always want to have a listen, don't you? And when I clicked to play it, obviously the first thing it does is come in live, and they were still talking about Georgia, and it was nearly an hour after we'd recorded. And I know that the radio station themselves have released something on social media, which I think we've shared, sort of just saying what a brilliant girl she is, how well spoken. So her mum must be, and her dad must be super, super proud, and her granddad, who I know is a big Forest fan and a big reason as to why they are part of our Forest family. So to Georgia and all your family, what an absolute legend you are. You must be super proud.
And I think when either of you decide to retire from the podcasting world, we may have found out a new host for the Tricky Talks podcast when she's grown up.
Now she's going to replace you guys. We're going all female.
Yeah.
But yeah, an absolute hero. And if anybody does happen to know Morgan Gibbs-White, maybe they can have a quiet word in his ear, because it would be lovely if she could get some sort of signed memorabilia from Morgan, who is her favourite player, of course.
Morgan wants a picture of her, let's be fair.
Yes, yeah. Indeed. Right, let's do an FPL update this week, Chelsea, because I indicated I was going to play my bench boost for this weekend, but I didn't in the end. I
did see.
Withdrew it.
I did. What? Why, Simon? What's the reason?
So, the Chelsea player Caicedo was not rumoured to be starting, so you can't have a player who's not likely to start on your bench and play your bench boost. So I withdrew the chip, although having said that, I should have played it after all, because Burnley got 2 clean sheets, so I missed out on 17, 18 points there, which would have put me higher up in the Tricky Talks League. But you're going to give us an update now, aren't you, Chelsea?
I am. Well, apparently I did see that game week 9 is the best week to use your bench boost.
Oh, is it?
So I've heard, yes, through the grapevine. Apparently it means because you've got more of like an established squad, including bench players, it means that you are more aware to get more points. So I've heard. Okay. I definitely will not be playing mine, because mine is not established, but we'll go from there. So we'll start off with you, Simon. You are up to 7th this week, 69 points. I know, yeah, see, he's creeping up without really gloating about it. I tell you, silent assassin over here. Mollo, you stayed in 9th with 57 points, but you still have Bowen to play tonight. So you never know.
Bowen, please. I have that. Can I just say, you know, the Chelsea defender that scored the first goal, because he was dirt cheap, he looked okay in a game. I had him on my bench, so I'll put him in my squad for if I'm struggling. But did I play my bench boost or him? No.
That's the way it goes.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, Mollo. Well, I'm down to 17th with 54 points, and it's safe to say that Doco is going to leave my team next week because he is quite frankly doing nothing for me at the moment. and Kate, you are down to 20th with 59 points this week. So again, we're still quite similar in terms of points. It's not too much of a difference.
Yeah, I'm going to sack myself and then blame myself and hope that I get a new manager bounce. I think that's the only way forward.
Or
maybe
hire Ange.
To do it. I'll ask Georgia. That's my plan.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Georgia or Ange, two females.
There you go. But yeah, I've a little fun couple of bits for you for game week 8. So up to game week 8, Haaland overall has earned 83 points so far this season, and João Pedro is second at the moment with 41 points. So, and I have seen now that a lot of people are binning Salah. Mo Salah is gone and everyone's replacing him with Haaland, which, can I say, I most definitely did in game week 4. So I'm very pleased about that. And also as well, I was reading a lot on forums as well today, saying that with Forest having a new manager bounce, a lot of people are now going to start considering putting Forest players back in their team. Watch this space.
They clearly haven't been watching us play.
I know, I thought that. I was like, okay, you go ahead for that. I hope they're in our league, so then we can bump over them.
That's a nice segue into our next topic, actually, because I do want to talk about that aforementioned new manager bounce, Chelsea. And obviously, if you read the news lately, it looks like Sean Dyche is about to become our new manager, and we have talked about him on previous shows and what he might bring to the team and the squad. And it got me thinking about whether new manager bounce was a real thing or not. So I did a bit of research, and I've come to the conclusion that it is a real thing. I just want to read something to you. According to Premier League statistics, in 20 out of 26 managerial changes between 2017 and 2021, the incoming manager averaged more points per match in the first 5 games than the team had before their appointment. In 9 cases, the new manager doubled or bettered the previous points average. And I did do a bit
better than double it, though.
Yeah. I did do a deeper look, and it revealed that short-term uplift is common, especially for the first few matches, but long-term success is not guaranteed. So there's some mixed evidence there as to how long a new manager bounce actually works for. But I continued reading, and Fantasy Football Scout found that in 65 managerial changes over 5 seasons, only 30.77% won their first game. 92% actually lost it, and the average goals scored and conceded were modest, 1.23 goals scored against 1.46 conceded. So it seems as though the new manager bounce may stem more from a psychological factors, i.e. fresh ideas, renewed motivation and relief from a toxic environment than tactical brilliance. And as to why it happens, players may feel re-energised under a new manager. The new manager might feel he's got nothing to lose, which can lead to bold tactical changes. The previous manager may have lost the dressing room, so even a temporary change can lift morale. So I think from what I've read, new manager bounce is real, more so in the short term than the long term, but it's not universal and it doesn't always translate into long-term success. So it remains to be seen whether Sean Dyche, if he is appointed, and a lot of the things I've been reading is that he will bring that unity, he will bring that togetherness back that was lacking under Ange. And with him, Forest got that history with Forest. He lives in the area, doesn't he, Mollo? I think he's not too far from you. And I believe from what you said before, don't his family have season tickets at Forest? He's got the motivation there to do well. I'm sure it's a job he would have been wanted to have in a long, long time. So I feel he's more of a valid appointment than somebody like Mancini, I think.
He's also, I think it's two things, isn't it? He's a winner. You've got. I think I may have alluded to it last time, and I've done a little bit more looking back. On paper, and we know football's played on grass, unfortunately at the moment for us, but on paper he's got a much more talented squad than he's ever worked with before. He took a very average Burnley team, and that's no disrespect to Burnley, and people might say the same about us last year, but he took an average Burnley team up to 7th. He rescued ailing Everton, who without the points deduction, would have finished 10th, and they were an awful side that were selling players every chance they could.
Walmart Business is in the business of helping your business, regardless of whether you're building bridges, building spreadsheets, or building lesson plans. Ooh, that looks fun. Walmart Business can help save you time, money, and hassle so you can focus on what you're building instead of what your supply closet is missing. In short, we take care of business so you can do more with yours. We're the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to tell you that Michelob Ultra, the official beer partner of the NBA, is bringing NBA fans closer than ever this season with chances to win great prizes, including courtside tickets. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Courtside 25 to 26. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 plus. Begins on October 1st, 2025 and ends on June 30th, 2026. Multiple entry periods. See official rules at MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, prizes, and details.
Okay, Chad. Today you're going to drive the all-electric Toyota BZ.
But my electric vehicle phobia. I'm not ready, Dr. Ross.
I believe in you.
Oh my gosh. We're inside it.
Try to take deep breaths, okay?
The ventilated seats, they're touching me.
You can do this, Chad. Drive the car. How do you feel, Chad?
I feel cured. Woohoo! I'm doing it! I'm doing it!
The all-electric BZ. One drive can change your mind. Toyota. Let's go places.
And as for new manager bounce, my theory is, and we've booked the trend beautifully actually, if a manager's getting sacked 99 times out of 100, it's because they're not getting enough points, isn't it? But we've booked the trend by sacking a guy that got us 4 points in 3 games to a guy that got us 1 point in 5. So 0.2 points per game probably won't keep you up and would make Derby's record look reasonable. So I'm all for a new manager bounce, but I think it's going to be more about he understands what's needed. I know there's the Nottingham thing, but it's almost like that game was written for him. We've got 100 wingers. We know he loves a winger, and putting a ball in the box for Chris Wood. He's always got the best out of Chris Wood, as did Nuno. And he's going to be looking at that set-piece record that Chelsea's pulled up. I hadn't realised how bad it was.
I know.
That's something that is a very quick fix. But the guy is a winner. I think I remember him saying that old quote about he would kick his own granny to get 3 points. He'd do anything for 3 points. And we need that. There's no two ways about it. We need that.
So what does a successful season look like, Kate? We've talked about a new manager bounce. We obviously had a lot of potential and a lot of hopes and dreams at the beginning of the season. And from a league perspective, I don't think they've changed too much in the fact that we were never going to win the Premier League. Let's put it down. Let's state that. What does a successful season now look like, considering we're currently in the relegation zone and out of the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, that's a really difficult one, isn't it? We were having this conversation in the car today with my 2 boys, and we are in relegation. You know, we are a long way, maybe not in actual days, but in the way that we feel as fans from the heady days of that that Brentford game on the opening day of the season, where the world was our oyster and we were so positive and everything was brilliant. We're so far from that point, and yet only however many days it is. I know it was 39 days for Ange, wasn't it? So you do have to reposition your expectations. You do. And I've seen a lot of stuff around Dyche being considered that Dyche has done well if we finish 12th. I think that's fair at this point to say if we finish around that 12th mark, that then becomes successful from where we are. And I think in terms of Dyche coming in, I can see all the positives, all the things that you've said about him being a Nottingham boy, a season ticket holder, him bringing Wone and Stone with him. These are all really positive things. I think he will galvanise the fans. I think the City ground will be rocking again. I mean, new manager bounce, he doesn't come across as a particularly bouncy character, does he?
Oh, he is. Really
well,
is.
Not bouncy. But, I do think that 12th is a realistic expectation. Now, I don't know about Europe. What I would say is my concerns with Dyche don't really come with this season. They come with next season. And what I've done is I've had a little bit of a talking to myself and decided to worry about next season. And for now, as we said before with Ange, only I do feel with a little bit more conviction, we get behind him, we let him do his thing, we let him sort out that defence, and we enjoy the fact that he loves the club, he loves the city, he brings 2 legends with him, and it's a tough ask to start at Porto, followed by away to Bournemouth. Really, really tricky, but let's enjoy it.
Somebody who would bring some good manager bounce, Chelsea, would be Mr. Blobby, as you mentioned him earlier. He's quite bouncy, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he'd be great. I've heard Mr. Bean, I've heard Mr. Tumble. They're all in the running with Sean Dyche, so don't know who it's going to be at this.
We could make an offer to Tigger if we're looking for a bounce, couldn't we?
Yeah. Love that.
But can Mr. Blobby do 2 birds caramel donuts at once?
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
In all seriousness, going back to Sean Dyche, I did read in the press today that one of the things that rankled Marinakis was the fact that he left all that talent out of the squad for the game against Chelsea, all of those aforementioned wingers that you talked about, Mollo. I do wonder if it's safe to assume that we won't see that happening again. £122 million worth of investment, not even in the squad, just can't happen, can it, if they want to recover the season or kickstart the season, as we said on Saturday. So I'd be very surprised if we see that scenario happen again. Go on, Chelsea.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, Forest, for even the season before we went up, we always prided ourselves on togetherness. And I personally feel like since Ange has come in, that has lacked big time. And I do feel like Dyche can come in, rally the fans back together again, and the squad, and just unite us once more. And I do. When with the rumour about Ange, I really struggled. I thought, no, we were all saying it, weren't we? No, please no. Please no. Kate was sending multiple texts going, not Ange, not Ange, not Ange.
Yeah.
And whereas we're all sitting here going, actually, yeah, bring Dyche in. Brilliant. Let's hit the ground running. So fingers crossed, but we still don't know at this point.
Yeah, it remains to be seen when he is going to be officially appointed. There have been stories in the press through Sky Sports, I believe, that he's verbally agreed a contract. But whenever he's appointed, he's going to hit the ground running because they've got a really tricky game against Porto on Thursday in the Europa League.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just to do a quick view on Porto, they're currently ranked 32nd in the world. Forest, in comparison, are 86th. They did take part in the Club World Cup, of course, over the summer, where they drew 0-0 with Palmeiras. They lost 2-1 to Inter Miami and drew 4-4 with an Arabian team, so they didn't qualify out of the group stages. In the league this season, though, they've been exceptional. They're one of the best teams in Europe at the minute. They've played 8, they've won 7, they've drawn 1, they've lost none, they've scored 19, only conceded 1. Their only draw was 0-0 this past weekend against Benfica. Away from home, they've played 4-1-4, scored 11, conceded 1. And in the Europa League, their results to date, they've beaten Red Bull Salzburg away 1-0 and they've beaten Red Star Belgrade at home 2-1. So this season, they've won 9 out of 10 games. And if I'm honest with you guys, this one scares the living daylights out of me, if I'm honest with you. So
yeah.
However, they've played 2 games in the Europa League with red in the team name, but they haven't played the Reds yet, have they? So what can we expect, Mollo, from Thursday's game? Are you hopeful or are you fearing the worst?
I was hopeful, but now that I'll tell you what my thoughts are. Because you talked about what a successful season looks like individually. For me, it's staying up. I think 12th would be nosebleed territory, and more than 4 European away trips. That's my hope, and that brings me back to the Porto game. We need to start picking up points more than just a point. It's going to be really tough. Who knows? Apart from it's going to be tough, isn't it?
It is going to be tough.
That's what we dream of when we were going to Preston or Barnsley or wherever else. Not being disrespectful to those clubs, great clubs, but we dreamed of playing teams like Porto in a hopefully sold out City ground on a Thursday night with that atmosphere, with Dyche as manager. You never know. And if I could just go back to something that Chelsea said, that actually when she said it, something went click in my head. You work for a big company as well, Simon, and it comes from the top, that togetherness. That absolutely comes from the top. I don't care whether it's a football club, an academy trust or an insurance company. it comes from the top. And at the top of our club, over this summer, it has not been together. So that's where the responsibility also lies. So hopefully, with the help of Deitch, bringing him together. Honestly, I cannot tell you if you need to. If you don't think he's a bouncy character, you need to go away and watch his interviews. He does the best interviews, not just post-match, pre-match, just generally. He is absolutely top value. He's really, really funny guy as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean that. I just bouncy.
Yeah.
Like, I get that he's good value, and I'm sure that his pressers will be great, and like I said, he'll credit fans and all of that. I just don't know if I think he's bouncy, that's all.
And
I feel bad for Ange that he only connected with the fans after he'd been sacked driving away from the ground.
Yeah. Go on,
Surely
Chelsea.
someone must have said to him.
I do reckon as well that this must be Sean Dyche's dream job. Can you imagine him being like, he must be so hungry for this, and that's exactly what you want. You need the passion, you need the togetherness again.
Yeah, and the game against Porto on Thursday is the reason why you want to qualify for the European competition. I know we mentioned it when we were talking earlier with Georgia and Carly around the Bayern Munich game, which you and I went to, Mollo, and Kate and Chelsea were too young for that sort of period.
Kate went.
No, I didn't go. I watched it. I was 15. I wasn't that young.
Those European days, if you recall, Mollo, were exceptional, weren't they? The midweek under the lights, playing against a team that you don't see week in, week out, different fans coming to support the team for European competition, and they're the sorts of midweek games that I used to remember a lot when I was younger, going each and every week. And I'm sincerely hoping we get a repeat of that kind of atmosphere on Thursday. I think there won't be that doom and gloom anymore. I think that cloud has probably lifted now, and I think that the crowd will certainly get behind Deitch if he's appointed in time, and as I said earlier, it remains to be seen. But do you want to give a quick score prediction then, guys, for Porto? Kate, do you want to tentatively suggest what the score might be?
So if Deitch is in charge, let's go for 1-0. Go on, 1-0 Forest. New manager bounce. Let's do it.
I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, Mollo, you take that, did you say?
I'll take that all day. I'm going 0-0. Shut the back door and go back to basics, and then worry about the rest of it after. So I'm going 0-0.
All right. Chelsea, what are you going for?
Isn't it weird that I feel more confident about this game without a manager than I did the Chelsea game? So I'm gonna go 1-1.
As I said earlier, this game scares the living daylights out of me, and if we can keep it respectable and put in a decent performance, that will do me. I'm not expecting Forest to win given the quality of the opposition and the form they're in, so I'm going to go 2-0 Porto, but that's on the caveat that Sean Dyche can rally the troops and get the team to put in a performance that got us to European football in the first place. So we'll see. Right, we've gone on long enough and we're coming up to the hour this week. Lots to talk about, but let's finish off, shall we, Kate, with the final quiz question that Georgia posed. Who was signed for Forest on this day in 2008? And actually, I haven't got a clue, to be honest. I've not even really had time to think about what the right answer is, but Mono's going to get it, isn't he, for sure?
No.
I know that around that time, my favourite ever Forest player was in our team, and that was Wes Morgan, but I don't think it's him.
He wouldn't have signed because he'd have come through the youth academy, wouldn't he? So he wouldn't physically have signed at this point of the season.
I think he'd been there. Yeah, I think he'd been there. I think he'd been there a while by then. And then I'm trying to think with Junior Agogo, that might be a possibility. I think he was around that.
What season was it? Was it 2008?
2008.
Wasn't it?
James Perch. Ian Brecken, but I think he was captain, so that wouldn't have been a signing.
It wasn't McGugan, was it?
Was it Louis McGugan? No. So I think I'm going to go Junior Agogo because it's the only one I can think of that might have signed around that time, and I'm pretty sure was in the squad.
I couldn't even tell you who was the manager at that time. It was that much of a merry-go-round, isn't it? I'm trying to remember what league we were in.
Probably Calderwood.
Luke Chambers.
I
reckon. I just went on to ChatGPT to find out what the answer is, so I do know who it was. Was it Lee Camp?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So Lee Camp is what she's texted me. Yeah, I hadn't read it. I didn't want to read it. Didn't want to cheat. So
yeah, the wonders of ChatGPT.
Of course.
Oh. They knew the answer.
Billy Davies' time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right. Enjoyed that, chaps. Good episode. Any final thoughts, Chelsea, before we go?
Bring on Thursday, people. We'll get through it.
Yeah, and I hope your cold gets better.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm not crying because I've just gone. I've just got.
Kate, anything from you?
So I think I had a notification earlier that tickets for the women versus Man City in the League Cup go on sale today. So that might be quite an interesting, good game to watch. So I haven't written down what the date of it is. It'll be in a few weeks' time, I imagine. But yeah, Man City women's team are going to play Forest women in the Cup. So have a look at that, see if you can get down there, show them some love.
Good stuff. And Molo, last word from you.
Can't wait for Porto, despite what the opposition are up against. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Playing the big boys, so to speak. And good luck to the women. They need to beat Man City to get through, don't they? Otherwise they're out on the group, because it's a group thing, because they were beaten on penalties by Everton, which was a good effort. Drew with a WSL team.
Right, good stuff. Thanks everybody for listening. We shall return with another show after the Porto game later in the week. In the meantime, we bid you a farewell, and we shall speak to you again real soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.